Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is the newest season. I've only seen episode 1 and 2 so far. It reminds me of a couple of other shows, but I actually really like it because the acting in that show is really good. And I think they've said this is the final season. They've gone back in time. It reminds me of the first season of Legends of Tomorrow. How they have to go back in time and they're jumping around through time. And there's unexplained time windows, and we just have to jump when they show up. So that's a lot like Sliders, right? Where they had the slider timer, and it will, we better hurry up and fix it because the timer is going to go off. So yeah, they go down. It's 1930s, Prohibition, 1931 maybe. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt's in the episode, so they think that the bad robots that are going through time, the chronocrons, is that right? Anyway, that they're trying to kill FDR to change history is what they think's happening, but that really wasn't their plan. Their plan was they were going after the guy who started Hydra, who was founding Hydra, bad robots. And they didn't exactly explain why, because they're just going, it's almost like the Terminator, right? You go back and the theory for the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents is that, well, if they stop the guy that starts Hydra, there won't be any Hydra, so S.H.I.E.L.D. will never be created to stop them in the future. So their ship is basically now a time ship and jumps through time, and it can still cloak and fly a little bit. And Patton Oswalt is really good in this episode as the guy who runs the speakeasy. He actually did a good job in this episode. I've seen him in other stuff. Like he's the voiceover in the Goldbergs, and he's pretty good in that. He did really good in this episode. I really liked this show recently. The past couple of seasons, I thought it just kept getting better and better. The last season I thought was the best season they've ever done of the show, and the season before that ended well. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I think that this season is really good so far. So it also kind of reminds me a little bit of the show Timeless, which I loved that show, and of course was canceled. Any of the good shows that come out usually get canceled. This was a great episode. They work together as a team. The new Coulson, he's like they have a term for him. I think he's a robot. I'll have to look it up. He's very strong, and he has all these memories of Coulson in him. And then he's trying to deal with that and deal with his emotions, but he still has the sarcastic. He's a great actor, and so he gives his lines. They're fantastic. Like when he says a normal line, he says it, in character, and it's fantastic. I mean, some of the other actors he basically makes some of the actors in the show look bad when he has lines right after them, because you're like, wow, like you just see the difference in acting immediately. Other times it's not that apparent when they let him stand alone in the scene and let him, breathe. But back to back, when you see some of the other actors, you're just like, whoa, he's a great actor. So yeah, it was a great episode. And at the end, the guy who was their android friend, the Chronocron that was on the ship, gets stranded because he doesn't get back to the ship in time. And so he basically goes and takes a job at the speakeasy. And I like that about the episode, that kind of felt real, that their actions in time they're trying to change have consequences. And then a guy got stuck, so he had to he'd go get a job. So I like the writing this season on the show. It's very good. I don't know what they're doing with the Agent May, right? So she died from the Shrike, and then they kind of tried to repair her body. But I don't know if mentally she's not all there, or if she's just all gung-ho, or she seems emotionally to not be showing any emotion. So I don't know if that's because she feels she's damaged psychologically, or if that part of her isn't repaired. Like, I don't know. That's obviously, they're going to delve into that in more future episodes, most likely. Like when she sees Coulson, she like has no response. Well, she's like, you're not Sarge. Oh, but you're not Coulson either. And he's like, well, I kind of am. And she's like, yeah, well, you're dead. And just walks off. Like, as well, because Coulson is dead, but I don't know. It just seemed really harsh for someone to, I don't know. The other character that they showed didn't react that way when they saw Coulson. I mean, they were like, oh, wow, we can have him back. Even some form of him that we care about can come back. So we're doing it. And anyway, it's pretty fascinating to see the different characters and how they're responding to that. So if you like my content, please like and subscribe. I'm going to keep reviewing this show and reviewing some other shows that I really like.